This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Beterbiev-Smith here in Belfast. Liam, always a pleasure. How are you?
Good, mate, you?
I'm very well, thank you. Obviously, I know you'll be here to support Agyarko tomorrow night. Before we come on to him, another one of your campmates last week, Cully, got back to winning ways against Reece, Mould. What did you make of Gary's performance?
I thought it was a good performance all round. In a sense, it was, a good competitive fight. A good kid who's coming to win. But a load of boxes tick for Gary. Back in the same arena, you've just been knocked out in. Taking flush shots again. Doing 10 rounds for the first time, and obviously getting back to winning ways. So I think it was a lot of pluses to take from it, a lot of demons put to bed, and he can kick back on now and start progressing back to where he was.
I'll ask you this, but I'll ask Joe when I speak to him later. But one thing people maybe saw and were mentioning on social media was Gary a little bit, not gun shy, but a little bit wary of what was coming back at him, obviously on the back of those demons, as you mentioned, from his last outing in that arena. Did you see anything in Gary which maybe suggested he was a little bit more concerned at what was coming back at him?
Yeah, maybe, but then that's not surprising. That's not on anyone else wouldn't be after coming off the back of a loss, and especially people have got to understand the last time he was in that ring, that exact ring in that exact arena, he was stopped, faced a lot of, regardless of anything, fighters are embarrassed. You get a lot of embarrassment getting stopped like that. I've had it myself. And he had to go back to the scene of the crime basically and put things right. So he was always going to be like that, but I don't think gun shy was the right word, because the gun shy is when you can't let your own shots go. It's just more, he might have been wary to take him on flush because, for obvious reasons, but like I said, gun shy I think is the wrong word, but yeah, I do think he was probably wary to take him on, but once you take one you think, hang on a minute, my chin's okay.
Beefy obviously away from Dublin, up north of the border. We're here in Belfast. Agyarko, Troy Williamson, a great fight. What are you expecting? What does Kevin have to do to have his hand raised?
To be honest with you, I think it's a great fight, great timing for both. I think it's gonna be fireworks from early on. Troy brings it. I think it might be hard for Troy to try and outbox Kevin, so Troy will choose to bring it then and force the fight. And I think when Troy does do that, it ends up a bit of a shootout in a way. Like Kevin will try and go on the back foot, but he'll also let big shots go also. And I'll be honest with you, I think it could be over inside 5 in Kevin's favour. If it doesn't go over in 5, I think it gets very interesting. Once it goes past 5, Troy's fit, he's durable, he's done the rounds before. Kevin hasn't. I know Kevin's done it a couple of times of late, but he hasn't done it with someone who's coming to fight you like Troy's coming to fight you. So, like I say, I think it gets very interesting. But I think Kevin wins. I think he can win. Maybe catch Troy coming on early doors, or he's done enough early to see it home down the stretch.
Beefy, one thing I'm always interested by is whenever somebody in your camp fights, you're pretty much always there. I always see you there supporting them. Why do you feel like it is so important for you to show that support to your fellow campmates?
I don't know. That's just something probably other people will notice. I like to support everyone. Everyone I know, everyone I'm close to. I will support everyone I know and everyone I'm close to. It costs me nothing to support people like this. People who supported me along the way also. But also I'm a fan of boxing. Really, I like being around the boxing people, yourselves, all we're here at a matchroom show. I like all the matchroom staff. I get on with them very well. I had a good relationship when I was with matchroom, and obviously, like I say, just boxing a whole. I'm also friends with Michael Conlon. He's top of the bill here, so it was another easy excuse for me to come and support Kevin.
Just away from all of them and coming on to yourself, you mentioned there when you used to work with matchroom. My understanding is you're a free agent now. Any talks there with Matchroom, seeing what's on offer, what they can potentially provide you with?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like I say, the people I'm talking to now are basically just asking me when I'm free and away from signing contract or anything. They'll probably see what they can offer me around the March date, and if they've got a fight for me in March, I'm pretty sure they'll offer me it. So, yeah, I'm speaking with Matchroom. I'm speaking to a couple of others. I've got a couple of other options at the moment too. So, again, I'm still coming off the back of a loss, but I'm sitting in a good place. I've still got options left, right and centre, and I'm pretty sure I'll still be in big fights.
Are you re-exploring anything with boxer?
At the moment, no, not so much. I think, boxer, I'm talking to them and whatnot, but it's not looking favourite at the moment. But never say never. I say no contracts are being signed with anybody, so we'll see what the next month or two holds.
Beefy, we haven't spoken since the defeat to Junior in the rematch. So I just want to kind of reflect on that. Obviously, I did an interview with Joe Mack in the following days, which I want to pull a few questions of some stuff that he said and bring it on to you. But just your reflections, please, on what went wrong in the rematch.
Like I said, look, I've justified enough. I think enough being mentioned for me to go into too many things. I was awful on my own standards. Chris boxed well and Chris won, so I'll probably just leave it at that from the performance. Whereas he beat what was in front of him, and good on him. He's probably going to move on, even though he's only righted the wrong race basically and made it 1-1.
As I said, I spoke to Joe a few days after the fight. We did a Zoom interview, and in that interview, Joe mentioned that you rather felt like there was kind of a pressure on you to take the fight, even if you didn't feel 100% fit, because things got a little bit legal behind the scenes in terms of you actually having to commit to the date. Did you feel like you was tied into this fight with Junior, the rematch, and there was no way out of it?
Well, yeah, I was basically. I was. My hand got forced, and because I pulled out of the June date, I was injured, and I was forced into September. Otherwise, I lose the Eubank fight, and Eubank walks away, and my man's then up the wall, my contract situation. So, yeah, I was basically forced into September 2nd. But hindsight, I didn't think it'd go the way it went. I thought, maybe I'd be ready once I got in there, once I made weight. I thought I'd be okay, and I went, and that's just the way it is. It is what it is, but that's boxing for you, and probably down to me to be a little bit stronger, call the bluff a little bit more.
Something I was going to ask, do you feel like now, and again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but are there regrets there that you didn't just pull out, because even though you'd lose that fight and the financial benefits of that fight, the longevity of it is you don't have anybody questioning where does Liam go from here now?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. If I could wind the clock back, I would. Hindsight's great. I thought I'd be okay on the night with the crowd, the adrenaline with little gloves on. I'd beat Chris before, weren't to be. But yeah, of course, hindsight now. I wish I'd just said, well, so be it. Let Chris walk. I won. Let Chris walk away. If he wants to walk away from the rematch, so be it. I wish I did now, but it's easy now saying it months on.
On the back of that fight, you kind of look towards the future. Where do you go? Where do things currently sit in terms of how you're going to get back to where you feel you should be?
Look, I'll get back. Like I said, look, if I lost to Chris, if I lost to Chris in good circumstances, the way if I had a great camp, if I didn't feel any of the things I thought, I'd retire tomorrow. I'd retire the next day after the fight. But I know the situation I was in. I know how I performed and the reasons why I performed like I did. I'm still in a very good position. I've got very good names. I've got very good offers at the moment. Not from a Matchroom. I'm speaking to Matchroom, great. I'm speaking to a couple of other people, but at the moment I've got two huge surprising people who are trying to make a fight with myself, asking me when I'll be ready for. So, these are like, you're talking world title fights, you're talking final eliminator world title fights. I'm in a good position, surprisingly, coming off the back of a loss to Chris. I've held myself in a good position, and I think that speaks volumes of people understanding the performance and the reasons by it.
Did Junior do anything in that fight which surprised you? Was he any better, in your honest opinion, than what he was in the first fight?
Absolutely not. That's my honest opinion. That's what baffled me and frustrated me a little bit after it. People saying performance of Chris's career. I'm like, wow, 15 middleweights in Britain would have beat me on that night. And that's a fact, and I honestly believe that. That's not an exaggeration. So, did Chris do anything different? No. He started the fight, I felt the exact same way he started the first fight, jabbing, trying to hold me, nullify me a little bit. And then obviously just realised, hang on a minute, he's not at the races here. He's not trying to counter me. He's countering me and falling short. He's very slow. And then obviously he got just get more and more confident. And You know, when I'm not throwing punches back, I think I threw a handful of punches in the whole fight. So, he's not stupid. I think that's probably why he'd take that win and run.
We know that Junior's looking at that Conor-Benn fight, but obviously with Conor's license, his application for a license being rejected a couple of days ago by the board, is there any chance there maybe the trilogy bout's revisited?
I don't know. You know, fingers crossed. I hope so. I'd love that to happen. And you know, if you ask me a question now, I'd pay money out my own pocket to fight this again. That's one that eats away at me. That he's probably going to take that win and go elsewhere instead of trying to, you know, have the trilogy and beat me convincingly next time. But you know what, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. If he's not going to fight Conor, you know, who's he going to fight? And we'll see. But I'm not really concentrating on them at the moment. I've had a good rest. I've let my injuries heal, and now I'll be looking towards March, end of February. You know, March, probably March, to be honest with you. With no pressure of fight dates, no pressure of making weight. I'll train and I'll enjoy training and I'll be back.
Just one final thing before we do delve a little bit more into the future. On the back of that defeat, what did you make of anybody who maybe questioned how much longer you'd have in the sport, or maybe if retirement would be around the corner for you?
I only seen a couple who mentioned that, and one was Carl Froch. Basically, I've had it out with Carl. I spoke to Carl. Another one was Derek Chisora, just being Chisora, you know, trying to. He didn't really mention retirement because he can't really, Derek, you know what I mean? The person who's been asked to retire for 10 years of promoters. But yeah, I haven't seen many people saying I should retire. I've seen people just basically criticising the performance, which again I can't argue with because the performance was poor.
Move forwards, and you mentioned to me earlier there's two big and maybe surprising offers that are somewhat in the works behind the scenes. Can you tell me a little bit any more about them? Would they be over in America, for example?
Yes, I think they would. Yeah, both are probably going to be in America if and when the offers come on the table. You know, these are only asking will I fight them and when I'll be ready for. So just interesting to know they're looking at me at an option, but that's all I can really say on it now at the moment.
One I want to push on, and simply because I know in the past you've been offered the fight and he was over in Australia, is Tszyu. Is that one of the names which is in the frame?
No, not one I've spoken about, but that fight's always there for me. I know they're mad to fight me, they always have been. I sat ringside with his promoters this year. I know they're mad to fight me. I know Tim likes that fight also, and the fight was very close to happening in COVID. That fight's always there. But like I said, it's more about me now getting myself back right, you know, injury free. And I said, look, if it's at 154, it's at 154. I only fought Junior at 160. I feel I'm probably still at 154, give or take. So we'll see, but don't rule the Tszyu fight out either.
That's something I was going to ask about. Do you see your future then, and whatever these fights are that you're discussing behind the scenes, they're going to be at 154?
No, next one's probably going to be 160 again, especially like I say, I'm coming off the back of the little bit of the layoff, but I'll take either. I feel I'm big enough for either, and you know, as long as I'm right, I'll take either. But just I need to concentrate on myself now and have a good camp with no injuries. My back's fine, which was the main injury I had. Obviously, after the Chris fight, I've let me ankle heal properly, and I'm good at the moment. I'm in a good place, and you know, I'll get myself back fighting fit, and I'll judge my options then.
Some huge names out there between 147 to 154 to 160 even. A couple of Americans who I've seen linked, maybe one more so than over the years, the likes of say Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman. Let's say Keith Thurman was to come up, he hasn't been active. Again, interest on your behalf?
Yeah, of course. They're all big names, so I'll fight any of them. Obviously, you'd have to chop my leg off to make 147, so...
No, if he was to be up at 154?
Of course, I'll fight any of them. I always have. I've always been like that my whole career. I'll fight anyone, anywhere, any place, and I think my record and my resume shows that. So, you know, whoever it is that makes the most sense, we'll go with.
And then Beefy, just a final couple of things before I let you go. Obviously, Callum's getting ready for the new day in January. How's he looking ahead of about with Artur Beterbiev?
Yeah, good. You know, he's in camp with Buddy. Been watching him, looking good, and you know, one I'm looking forward to. Massive chance, massive opportunity for Callum to become a 2-weight world champion, win 3 belts at light heavyweight, and it's one we're very confident in.
People expect this to break out into a firefight at some point. We haven't necessarily seen that in Callum's career. I know in the Canelo fight it was a bit of a sustained, I don't want to say beating, but a difficult watch at points because of the success Canelo was having. What's your thought process going to be watching your brother if it does become a bit of a firefight with a man who many consider to be the hardest hitting fighter in the sport?
Yeah, I think that's what we have to stomach and we have to get prepared for. You know, we stopped everyone he's been in the ring with, and he'll try no difference against Callum. But do that at your own risk of being flattened yourself. And I think Callum Smith's one of the biggest light heavyweight punchers in the division at the moment. And you know, if Anthony Yarde can hit him and rock him to his boots, and Callum Johnson can drop him, Callum Smith can knock him flat out. And you know, we take confidence off every fight Beterbiev had. You know, you've got your pros and you've got your cons. And yeah, he's an animal. Yeah, you know, he's a massive puncher. Yeah, he's a very, very good fighter also, not just a massive puncher. But yes, he's vulnerable. Yes, he's been down. Yes, he gets hit. Yes, he's getting very, very old. He's 39, I think. Could even be 40. I think he's 40 a week later. I'm sure he's 40 or he's 39 a week later. Again, that's going to take a toll sooner or later. But I just think if it's the same after Beterbiev we got against Anthony Yarde, Callum Smith wins.
Just away from Callum, some fights coming up in these coming weeks. Devin Haney, Prograis next weekend. Your thoughts on that?
Good fight. I think Devin Haney's very good, very talented at what he does. Not very exciting, but very, very good. If you can find the balance between that, he'll win at any means necessary, and I think he'll win that fight.
Bam Rodriguez and Sonny Edwards out in Arizona again. How do you see it playing out?
You know what? That's probably the best fight again at the moment. I applauded how did I applaud the other week? Saying the best fight at the moment, both in the primes. Who was it the other week? Fought big fight a couple of weeks back. Forgot, but anyway, at the moment they're two in the prime, world champions. I think it's a great fight. I fancied Bam Bam early on when they spoke about fighting, and then when Rodriguez had that fight, I don't know. It looked like his confidence was shot a bit now, and Sonny's confidence is through the roof. His confidence now seems unbeatable, and he's hard to beat anyway. So I'm probably just edging towards Sonny at the moment.
Before I move forward with December 23rd, we saw Benavidez stop Demetrius Andrade. What did you make of that performance, and how do you think he fares against Canelo?
Yeah, I just think he's another great fighter, great pro in what he's doing. I've seen him say now he wants to fight Charlo just so we can eliminate Charlo out of the Canelo options next time round, which is great. I just think he's a top pro. He'll fight anyone to prove he's the best, and he's an animal when he fights. So, you know, he's one I rate, and I enjoy watching.
Do you think Benavidez would beat Canelo?
I don't know. It depends how much Canelo has left. He's still young and fresh, Benavidez. Canelo's a better fighter. Whether he's big enough, I don't know. I would be interested in seeing Benavidez and Canelo, definitely.
And then just the final one, Anthony Joshua, Otto Wallin, December 23rd. An interesting fight. What are your thoughts on it?
A good fight. I think Otto Wallin's a good fighter, but I think Anthony Joshua, if he's firing, he's very good with southpaws. He's got a lovely right hand. I just think if he's aggressive enough and not really gun shy a little bit, I think Joshua wins and wins well. I think he's very good with southpaws.
Just going to sneak one more in. Fury-Usyk was announced for next year. What are your thoughts on it? Has your opinion changed at all on the back of the Ngannou fight?
No. It hasn't changed at all. I think you can never predict Tyson with shit like that. You know what I mean? You can probably say he made it that close just to fall back into a rematch once Usyk's done for millions and millions and millions. Never trust anything like that with Tyson because he's so unpredictable. But back to boxing, back to Usyk, back to the world titles. I think he hasn't found a way to lose yet, and I just think he's so hard to beat. He's so big. He might make that fight a stinker, but I do think Fury just wins it.
Beefy, it's a pleasure as always. I'm leaving you to enjoy the rest of your time here in Belfast. Thank you.
Time, mate. Nice one.